Hey, Rob.
And I'm actually just waiting on Nick to reply back. So just wanted to verify he's good with working and calling your leads for you. We'll give everyone a few moments.
Hi, Cassie. I won't be on here long. I got an appointment at 11.
Not a problem. Good morning, Shirley, or afternoon, or however you want to play it today.
Can't hear anything. Okay.
Can you hear us now, Shirley?
Yes, I can. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Missed you at the trunk or treat.
Yeah, sorry about that. We were closing up our camper, so.
Nope, not a problem. It was pretty good. It was a lot of fun. It was great to see, the agents, and obviously the first time we do something, it's never enormous. It always
Yeah.
takes time to build something. I know Dan was saying that he wants to do a haunted house inside the office.
Ooh,
next
that would be cool. I love Halloween.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think last night I actually turned on my Halloween display.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
That's just a spider web.
Yeah, we're getting, my sister-in-law lives across the street from me, so we get everything together and put it all up in the driveway in the front of my house, so we hang it up.
Yeah, so there's my front.
Oh
of
yeah,
my
that's
house.
pretty cool. I want to make a haunted walkway up the drive for the kids next year. Yeah, that's cool. That's a lot.
Yeah, that took all weekend.
Yeah, I bet it did. Hopefully it doesn't rain on Halloween.
Well, it was raining. Obviously, you can see the lightning strikes. It was raining last night when I was actually turned it on for the first time. I always turn it on the week before.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
But
a
that's
lot
just
of
the
work.
front. I have actors and animatronics that I set up in the driveway, the garage, and the backyard. That's for the kids that actually aren't afraid to come up and get more candy.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and kind of get started. So does anyone know, I mean, I just want to get an idea of what a script is for. And raise your hand. No. Really,
Well,
a script is,
go ahead.
it's just there to initiate and finish a conversation. The middle of the script is where there is no script. And that's where you're trying to find the pain point, or you're trying to find some sort of information and build a rapport. So are any of you guys familiar with what's called circle prospecting? It's kind of like just sold. It only works if you do have a property, whether the buyer or seller, that you sold. And basically you're picking a circle or a sphere, radius, and you're giving people information about the market. This has to be done, I'd say probably within the first 20 days, because there's information they can't get. Like they don't know what the house actually sold for because it hasn't been recorded, or maybe the only people who know that would be real estate agents. But real estate agents aren't going to call your neighborhood and say, or at least hopefully they won't, I just sold a house in there. And really with that one there, there's two aspects of it. The one is the reason why you're calling, give them information. And they either know the house, and that's why we call it circle, then they live in that vicinity, or they know the seller. And that kind of gives you that opening. One of the scripts I want to kind of go over today. Scripts, there we go. So like circle prospect. Does anyone plan on doing circle prospecting? Because if not, I won't even go over it.
What do
That's,
you mean by circle prospecting?
Circle prospecting, like I was saying, Julie, if you were on time, you would know.
Yeah, sorry.
Just kidding. Circle prospecting is whether you have the buyer or seller. You're picking a radius, a circle around that area, and
Okay.
you're cold calling, essentially. But you're cold calling with information. And this has to be done before 20 days. Because after 20 days, things can be recorded in like on Zillow and the internet, things like that, that the seller or buyers can locate. And you're calling with information. And at the same point, like I said, if no one's planning on doing it, I'm not going to go over it. But that's what circle prospecting is. It's like farming. But let's how about some expired listings? Anybody interested in that?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go through the notes here. So obviously expired listings indicate that there was some sort of a problem during the sale process. But the big thing about reaching out to expireds is you don't want to rush to assign blame. You don't want to criticize the approach of the previous agent or the owner. Clients at this point are very emotional, normally for two reasons. I do believe the first one is that the sale didn't take, whether it was under contract and fell through. The other reason they're emotional is they're getting a lot of calls from us. There's a lot of agents that base their business on expired listings. The goal here with an expired listing is to understand what went wrong with the listing, especially the client stance. Not so much what the agent, but the clients. When you get down to it, you can easily move from an emotional to a business point. With expired listings, you want to use non-direct questions such as, what qualities, in your opinion, should the right agent have to effectively represent you? That's an assumption. You're already assuming that they're going to be out there looking for agents. Another one would be, what actions did the previous agent do that you liked? And then that's helping to obtain information along the way. What you want to do with the expired listings for your calls is you're trying to build trust. You're going to give out some free information in form of market advice. So, for example, hi, I'm looking for Mr. Smith. Hi, Mr. Smith. My name's Rob Hanson. I'm with Realty One Group Advisors. I'm sure you figured out that your home came up on our computer as an expired listing, and I was calling you to see. And now here's where you can change things up. When do you plan on, like, believe it or not, a lot of expired listings that I have talked to in the past are interviewing new agents. So my number one question to them is always, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your house? And if they say never, terrific. Or really? And then ask them why, because now they're going to assume that all agents are the same. Another question would be, after you introduce yourself, if your home sold, if you sold this home, where would you go next? Because even though they may not use you for a listing, they might use you for the buyer. If you look in NAR, you'll see that actual buyer representation has gone up to an all-time high this year alone. Question 3 that I would always ask, how soon do you have to be there? Followed up from question 2 is to, where would you go next? You want to ask questions that are going to give you information as to what their motivations are. Remember, we're really not in the business of selling. We're in the business of problem solving. And I don't mean that in a negative way, so don't take it as such. We really don't have to sell ourselves. You have to sell the value and so that you can solve problems for them. Because anybody can sell a house, we all know that. So number 4, I would say, and I'll share these scripts with you guys. I'll send them out to via email to you. Mr. Smith, what do you think stopped your home from selling? And actually, you know, I'm going to ask this question. And Charlie, if you want to answer it, as the client. Number 5 would be, how did you happen to pick the last agent you listed with? And I don't think Shirley's even there, is she? Yeah. Can you hear me, Shirley?
Sorry about that. I was
Yeah,
muted.
So one of the questions I ask is, how did you pick, or how did you come to pick, and you're going to role play with me. How did you
Okay.
come to pick last agent who listed your?
I was home searching and they contacted me through that home search portal.
So you basically were online and it captured your information, and an agent called you back and
Correct.
met with you at your house, correct?
No, we met over the phone.
Oh, and you listed over the phone.
Well, we talked over the phone. Basically, we met once to list because I didn't have the time, my work schedule, and I just signed it.
What qualities about that agent did you like?
Well, to me, they seemed like they were knowledgeable. They were upfront, and they even on the phone explained the contract.
Yeah, I always hand out a contract to my clients, and I tell them, hey, read over it, highlight it before it's actually filled out. This way you and I can sit down and we can negotiate and talk about everything that's in there, because almost the entire contract can be negotiated. Well, what qualities would you look for that this agent didn't have that you think maybe might
Probably
help sell?
more, yeah, probably more one-on-one contact with me, maybe sat down with me instead of just like a quick visit. And I found out there was more to it than just that listing contract. Like I would have liked to know more about, offers and, my buyers that were bringing offers. And I didn't feel like I got that from that agent.
Awesome. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You have time. I'd love to listen to some of the questions you have and maybe bring up a couple point of views that maybe you didn't even think about. One thing about me is I'm a very proactive person. I don't like to react. I like to be ahead of the game, meaning that I'm going to tell you things are going to happen a certain way. Now, they don't always happen that way, but a majority of the time they do. And I just want you to be a well-informed seller. So I know I asked you, if you planned on interviewing other agents. Well, I would definitely like to apply for the job of selling your house. If you have time, maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right up front though, I am a person that, because I didn't get this last time, I really like to see things laid out. I'm a process person, and I probably should have taken some of the blame out moving forward and doing it myself, but I guess because since I hired a person to do something for me, I thought maybe, maybe process oriented like I am and see things as they flow, So if that's
Yeah.
something you think you can present to me, then we could probably talk.
Without a doubt. I would love to come just view your home. Basically, because I really can't compare apples to apples. I saw the pictures online, but I do know pictures don't tell the 100% of the story, and kind of get why you bought the house so that I can convey that to the potential buyers as well. So if that sounds like a great fit, I would love the opportunity to sit down and interview for the position.
Okay, we could try that. We'll try that, and I'm not gonna make any promises, but we can definitely set up an appointment and see where it goes.
Awesome. And then that's kind of what now your script will run back in again, where now you're presenting. I only present 2 days. How does Monday or Tuesday work? Around say 1 o'clock? Good afternoon, Jennifer. How you doing? How was your trip?
It was awesome. It was, I can't believe
Stop
it's
sending me
over.
pictures.
I would say
So-
Tuesday at 1.
Yep, so Tuesday works great around noon. And like I said, remember, the whole purpose of a script is not to script out the entire conversation. That's where it becomes robotic. Scripts are basically there for your opening and your closing. So they're the things that you're gonna kind of memorize. As you start talking to people, it's a little different. But remember, your scripts have to tie to a value. It's always about a value. The value can be a self-worth, meaning for sale by owners. Your script then, 99% of the sale by owners, it's all about the money. So let me pull up a for sale by owner and then we'll kind of run that one through. Give me 1 second here. Scripts for everything.
Yeah.
I know I have it in my. Okay, here's my for sale by owner. Again, we'll start off with reasons. Why would a property owner want to sell their own house? Well, I think we kind of went over that.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, the reason would be money. Some people just are not willing to cover an agent's commission. Even if they don't, I mean, most of them don't even realize that. And again, you can't use the NAR stats because we know it's a true stat. But when you mention the National Association of Realtors, and you do not want to use acronyms, assume they do not know anything about real estate. So PAR, NAR, all that, for sale by owner, FSBOs don't say that. Talk to them in layman's terms. Remember that the seller mindset tends to be dead set on prospecting or protecting their own piece of the pie. The good news is that most common sense among all for sale by owners listings. So if you master your approach of these objections, so to speak, it'll start feeling like it's easier for you to approach a for sale by owner. A great story is James. He's been with us a little over a month, and he really wanted to work with sellers. And he actually wound up getting a for sale by owner. So I don't know if we said congratulations or not, but let me get to one of the scripts for sale by owner. And I'll use Julie. Are you listening?
Yep, I was sneezing. Sorry, I got a little cold or something. Sorry.
This one's based off of having clients looking for either that particular house or that neighborhood.
You want me to be tough?
What's that?
You want me to be tough?
Yeah, you can be whatever you want to be. Hi, I just found your home for sale, and I had a few questions about it. Are you the homeowner?
I am.
Great. My name is Rob. I'm working with Realty One Group Advisors. The reason I'm calling is that I have a few potential buyers for the house like yours that are very interested in this area. Now, why I say area is because I may not have the buyer for that community, but they want, say, Southern Chester County. Would you mind telling me the price you're asking for your home?
My house is listed with for $375.
$375. Cool. Are you cooperating with real estate agents?
I am. I'm willing to pay 2%.
And may I ask why? Why 2%? Like, how did you come up with that number?
Well, I just think that that's all I'm willing to pay at this point.
Okay. Have you had any interest so far?
Yeah, I've had a few people come through.
Is there, now I saw that you had a few pictures, not very many. Is there more than just those 7 pictures of your house? Are you uploading any more?
Well, no, you know what? I think that the 7 is probably pretty good. I feel like they want to make, surprise them with some good features once they get here.
Well, I love
By the way, I heard
surprises.
somebody say that. I heard somebody say that once. That's why I said that.
And believe me, I love surprises. But the one thing I will tell you, being a real estate agent for over 15 years, is that buyers don't like surprises. So if I can just give you one little bit of information, maybe take a few more pictures, it might help out. But I also would like to preview your house. Would there be a good time I can come by and preview the house?
Are you bringing a buyer through?
I will not bring the buyer through the first time. I'm actually going to walk through the house. This way I have a better idea of what the house is like. Because like I said, it only has 7 pictures, and I know you have 4 rooms, 2.5 baths, basically a 2,800 square foot house. So I want to kind of get a better feel for the flow, because I do have clients that are particular and they want this or they want that. Give you an example. One client doesn't want anything unless it's open concept. And I'm not sure, I see you have an office, but I don't know how the dining room, living room, that is situated because of the angles of those pictures.
Well, then this is where I go into 20 minutes of telling you about my house, which I'm not going to do that. Okay.
Right. And that's where that's where you kind of steer them
That's
back
what-
to.
Right. The
Well,
seller will go
instead
all the way into that.
Are you available on Monday? Because I would like to get out there on Monday, take a look.
So you're gonna basically look at the house and see if you want to bring one of your buyers back?
Yes.
Because, okay. All right, well, that's okay. I can do that. But I just want you to know that I'm not going to list with an agent. So there's a lot of agents that call me and try to list my house. And I can't pay the 6% commission. I don't have, there's a real sad story behind everything that for 20 minutes I'm going to tell you about, and I don't have the money to pay a commission.
Not a problem. Do you know, Ben, you brought up commission.
Or like 6% commission. I don't have the money to pay
Right, no,
6%
no,
commission.
no, I totally understand it. It seems
And
like
the
a lot of
market's
money.
so good right now. People are buying all kinds of things and they don't need realtors.
Yeah, people would believe that, wouldn't they? But actually, let me get back to what you had just said. Do you know how much you would net if you sold at that price?
Yeah, I would get like, I don't know, I don't know the numbers, probably 370 maybe, or 365.
65?
I don't know. I can't do math this quick, Rob.
No, that's no problem at all. Yeah, so we'll basically look at stopping by on Monday at noon. Work for you?
Yeah, that sounds good. But I'm not
Awesome.
gonna list. I just want you to know I'm not gonna list with an agent, okay?
That's not a problem. Like I said, I'm there to preview the house, and maybe I can help you out and give you a little bit of information on what will help you sell the house quicker while
Okay.
I'm there. But awesome. Well, thank you very much. Here's my number in case you need it. If anything changes, let me know. Or if you have any questions about potential buyer that comes through, don't even hesitate. Give me a call. And otherwise, I will see you on Monday. Do you mind if I text you Sunday afternoon to let you just to confirm?
Yep, that's fine.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday.
Bye.
So
I think-
basically,
I didn't want to be too hard. I just want to say something
No.
real quick. That's okay. I didn't want to be too hard because most for sale by owners will let an agent in to see a house and preview a house. And I think that's a good way to approach it, to get in there. If you try to say, hey, I want to come list your house, they're going to put the wall up.
Yep.
So I do think that's a really good way to get in there. Some of them might be a little tougher and say, well, I'm not going to list with you. I don't want to pay this. I don't want to do that. Anyway, I know you're just trying to get your foot in the door is the
Yeah,
key, right?
and then that goes back to, I'm sure most of you have heard me say this before, in any sales environment, whether it's inspections or it's mortgage, insurance, people are going to buy the people first, and then they take the profit. They've got to feel comfortable with what
Hello?
what you're doing.
Can you mute her?
Yeah.
There you go.
They want to feel comfortable with what you're going to do for them. So with a for sale by owner, your script, all it has to be is introduction and then close for the date. Even if you don't have a buyer looking for that particular house. Now, I'm a very strong believer in, I tell the truth about everything that I'm talking to with the clients, because eventually it'll come back and bite you if you don't. So if you don't have a client, just tell them the truth. Hey, I'm working with a lot of people in the Southern Chester County area. Obviously, that the inventory is short. So I would like to come by and preview your house and see if, maybe a potential buyer that I come across that house would match. So again, you're showing value and you're being honest. You do
Okay.
not have a buyer.
I have a question or a thought of something. So first thing, I want to make a statement. The key to that call was basically saying, hey, is your house still for sale? And how much is it? Don't start off by saying, hey, this is Rob from Realty One Group, because then it puts the wall up. Ask the question first. I think that's important and that gets them talking. But secondly, do you think a good idea might be to, and I just thought of this, so I don't know if it's good or bad, but when you go out there and talk to them, maybe you're offering to share the house on your social media platform to try to come up with a buyer. So if you say, hey, I don't have a buyer now, but I have a good marketing platform, can you give me permission? This is a face-to-face now, not over the phone.
Right.
When you're meeting them right face-to-face, would it be okay if I share your house to my sphere, my buyers, and I can try to come up with a buyer for it and show you how my marketing works? What do you think about that?
No, I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, because I was
Obviously,
gonna
we
ask,
can
what do you
share.
do once you're there now? Like,
What's that, Shirley?
That's what I was gonna ask, like, what would you do once you're there? Okay, you made the appointment, but now you're there and you're still trying to sell this for sale by owner to list with you. Or at least
So-
try to get them to list with you.
Yeah, so here's basically, you're walking through the house with, and you let them know, I want to know all about your house. I want to know what made you fall in love with the house. Tell me what updates you've done to the house, if any. Because buyers are emotional. They will buy off of emotion as well as does it fit their needs. So if I can convey your emotion on, hey, maybe it was the backyard view, sitting out on the deck, having a cup of coffee, watching a deer cross, maybe in the wintertime, having that little fire pit, whatever it was, there's someone else that once said same feeling. And this is the American dream, owning your own house. So there's your emotion. So you're tapping into the seller's emotions right now. You're letting them walk through. You're listening. The biggest thing is stop talking. The more you can get the potential client to talk, the more they're going to like you. The more you talk, the less they're going to like you.
Mhm.
If you can keep that in the back of your mind. But like what Julie was saying, hey, maybe it's toward the end of it. If you want some help, I'll be more than happy to share on my social media. The other great thing that I found that works really well is after a week, you share it on social media, you bring up, 7%. Well, what's that? 7% of sales come from open houses. So you're eliminating 7% by not doing an open house. Maybe they don't know how to do an open house. Maybe it's their marketing. And that's some of the stuff you got to ask them. So other than, I typed in homes for sale by owner homes in Chester County, and it came up on homes.com. Other than homes.com, what other website are you advertising? Because not every realtor out there and not every homeowner go into that site. So you should be on multiple platforms. That's a little tidbit of information. Go ahead, Joel.
I have another thought. So I think it's important to have some questions, in your head and to ask them as the time seems right and appropriate. But I think one of the questions really should be at some point, if you feel that it's right, what's your game plan here? And word it the way you talk. Are you planning on, trying to sell it yourself for a certain time frame and then list with a realtor, or, have you thought about listing with a realtor ever? Tell me a little bit about why you decided to do for sale by owner. Why don't you want to list with an agent? And of course, they'll go into their own thing. And I know on the phone we talked about money, but I do feel like somehow you have to, ask that question And then maybe ask a closing question and show your negotiating and your skills of an agent by saying, well, look, if I can show you how you can make more money by listing with an agent, with listing with me, would you consider doing that? Or was that something that you would consider doing? So I do think you have to have those closing questions ready. You can't just be, oh, hey, nice to see you and all this kind of stuff. At some point you've got to ask a question like
No,
that,
and
right?
actually, you're right. And actually, the first part of your conversation with the for sale by owner should be
Face to
two
face.
questions.
Right.
Face to face should be two questions. What is your time frame? How soon do you want to sell your house? And if they say, 30, 60 days ago, awesome. That's information for you because now that's a motivation for them. And then the follow-up question is, where are you moving to? If they're moving to an area that you cover, why not offer your services as a buyer's agent? You get your foot in the door, you start sending them listings. Now you can give them information about, hey, these houses are selling pretty quick. Your house hasn't sold yet. Did you try this? Did you try that? No, do me a favor. Let me list it for 2 weeks, do an open house, get some feedback. And if you don't like what I'm doing listing wise, and here, I'll do it at, for the 2 weeks, let me show you what I can do. Here, you've reduced the price. No, it's been 90 days. I haven't reduced the price. Well, traditionally, the one thing, because we can't change the location, you're not going to add an extra bedroom. You're not putting a fence around the yard right now. So really, the only thing you can do is reduce the price to help show the value for the buyers, because the market is not the sellers, it's the buyers. The buyers are setting the market, meaning buyers are willing to pay X amount of dollars. Well, they're not finding the value yet. So now you've got more information. And like I said, that second question is so important because they may not even have thought, well, my house is under contract. I guess I should be looking. And why wouldn't I use a real estate agent on the buyer's side? It costs me nothing. And now you've got your foot in the door even further because you're building that rapport with them. But yes, to tie to Julie's thing, those two questions should be automatic. What's your time frame and where are you moving? And if they're moving out of state, get on the Realty One Group has a referral network. Get on that referral network. Tell them, hey, I've got a client looking in, Huntsville, Alabama. Do you have any good agents there? I'm on there. I'm constantly seeing, agents, especially like Southern, always looking for Southern agents, in Florida, in North Carolina, South Carolina, stuff like that. And then interview that agent before you actually introduce them to your client, and then get a referral from it. You've given another value. Again, the buyer side of it. Now, hey, they may not be. They may be moving in with the kids or something. That's a different scenario. But like to Julie's point, and to my point at the beginning of this, is the script is only there to start and end the conversation, and it should be with anybody, open-ended questions, not questions that they can ask yes to, because the more yes and no questions, that means the more conversations, the more talking you're doing. And as anyone will tell you, that the more talking you do, the less likely you're going to be of obtaining that client. Now, is anyone doing any prospecting right now? Meaning there's a particular area. Jennifer, what type of prospecting are you doing? You're muted. Hold on. There you go.
I was like in a mafia movie this morning. I was at a funeral trying to get that house.
You own
Yes.
your own home? You own your own home?
So the one kid, my husband was saying, whatever. And he said, well, don't you watch mafia movies? All business gets done at funerals.
You'd be surprised what gets done at funerals. Yeah. Well, to your point there, I do know a little bit about the story what Jennifer's talking about. Number one, that house has to go through probate. So the attorneys have to do everything and then figure out who's actually going to be the one, whether it's at a power of attorney or the estate, who's running the estate, things like that, who's going to make the decisions on the house itself. So you got a little bit of time with that one. And it's knowledge. you start talking to someone and like, hey, my father just passed away. Hey, did your house go through probate? I don't know. Really, there's nothing you can do yet. You know, you have to, it has to go through somewhere. Maybe the wife is still alive. In Pennsylvania, both husband and wife are 100% owners. So it's automatic.
Just
And
be
even if,
careful when you're at a funeral though. Can I interrupt you? Because I
Yeah,
was at a
please do.
funeral one time and I, you know, it was my friend's mom and I had sold the mom the house and I knew I was going to get the listing when they eventually put it on the market. But a guy from the neighborhood walked through the line, gave my friend his card and said, I'm a realtor in the neighborhood. So when you're getting ready to list the house, give me a call. And oh, by the way, sorry for your loss. And she came up to me afterwards. She said, Julie, this guy just gave me his card. I said, oh my God, that is so, I don't know, so aggressive, so wrong, I thought. But hey, he probably gets a lot of listings that way. That's terrible, but like, at least he put it out there. You know what I mean? I had to
Right.
kind of,
He's
I
a
mean,
funeral
in-
crasher. You ever seen
Yeah.
the wedding crashers? He's a funeral crasher.
pretty much,
in
right?
lieu of
Ambulance
flowers, here's a
chaser,
business
funeral
card.
chaser.
That's
So,
terrible. If somebody did that to me at any funeral of mine, I would literally take hold of his arm and walk him out the door. That's what I would do personally. That would be me. I would be, what the hell's the matter with you? And I would just take him right down the line and you're out.
we just laughed at that one.
Oh
Part
my
of me was
God.
like, gosh, I'm glad I was there. And I saw the card and everything. I was like,
That's
wow.
crazy.
Anyway, sorry to
No, you're good.
Wrong.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever picked up a house from a funeral. That's just not in my
well,
style.
he must do them because it was a 55 plus community. So I'm sure that's a source of business for him.
Well, with him, and it's kind of fun because that's one of my scripts is what I call the heavy sales real estate script, which is the aggressive sale. And common mispractices that cost agents, you know, basically is guilt, you know, basically making them feel guilty, insulting, phantom inventory, empty promises, and pushing before they're ready. And to me, the whole funeral part, that's pushing before they're ready.
And
Because
aggressive, all of it.
again, it's the whole empathy. Now, there is a way of doing that though. Remember that if you're going to do aggressive sales, never lose your confidence. And it sounds like he didn't lose his confidence. You know, here it is, here's my business card. The last thing you want is to make your client feel unsure about the actions or your intent. Basically, you're basing your sales technique off of FOMO, off of that client fear of missing out. And it does work. I never tried it, so I did write a script about it because I did have agents that work with me that are very aggressive and you know don't mind coming across, and they feel that by coming across that aggressive, that it shows confidence. But you got to know your audience again. It's not something that everyone can do. And it's not a practice that every agent can do. But I do know we do have internet leads, and I wanted to kind of follow up on those also. And like I said, I'll send out these scripts to everyone. In your best, I don't make commissions. I'm just curious, you know, customer service type person voice. That's kind of how you got to play the internet ones, is you're not calling them back to try to get a commission. You're calling them back about customer service. And I was going through my files and didn't see if you ever bought that home you were looking for. So basically that right there is kind of a soft way of finding out, hey, are you still in the market? You never want to start off with a conversation as apologetic. You don't want to start off by, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I haven't called you in 3 weeks. That's not an excuse. When you're saying I haven't gone through my files, or I was just going through my files, that's fine. Let your voice trail off and then be quiet. Listen. My mom and a few other people have always said, you know, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should be listening twice as much as we're talking. You know, the potential clients will ask all sorts of questions about the property, and chances are very high that you might not know everything. The other thing I think about that is don't tell them everything. Buyers can find, especially the internet buyers are pretty savvy, and or sellers. They can go online and find a lot of information. When it comes to the buyer side, the one thing they can't do is they can't get in the house. They need you to help them with that. They don't realize how much more they need you for, but you've got to find out, number one, their motivation. Number two, their qualification. And when I say qualification, this is where I think a lot of agents fall short is, oh, we want to go see a house tomorrow? Great. All right, we'll see you then. What about the pre-approval? That has to be a very big part of your conversation. And if someone doesn't want to get a pre-approval, I know it's tough, but be strong and tell them that you know that these houses sell quickly in this market. If you do not have a pre-approval, we can't put an offer. If you don't have proof of funds, we can't present an offer. It is very important for you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, to obtain your buying power. Like, are we looking at houses that are below your buying power? What's your comfort zone? Maybe it's a mortgage, maybe it's a monthly cost. Well, let me help you figure that out. You're like 123 Main Street. Now, this kind of stuff is what you do in person. Maybe once you come by and you meet them the first time, you have an estimated closing cost on that house using, I always go with 20%. It's an easy number, conventional. And then it's also the information about the different loan products. You know, are you looking USDA? Are you a vet? You know, using a VA, conventional loans. Which ones are more prominent? Conventional is the second right behind cash. Cash is king. You have the cash, let's go. But then again, it's the proof of funds. The key with your online is how about use these 3 open-ended questions right away? When would you like to go see it? What else would you like to see? What interests you about this property? I think the third one is probably the most important one because it's going to give you the largest criteria for the house. Now, prior to during the whole COVID epidemic, I know we're still in it, but not as bad as we were. We don't have to ask the question how many people are coming because there really hasn't been a push on that one. But find out what interests them. Now, all this is based off of call. The number one thing, first thing is not, I mean, you've got the leads, whether you paid for the lead or someone else paid for the lead, or, you know, the lead came in on your website, you got to pick up the phone. If you can't handle a no, you might want to not make these calls. It's all about the numbers. And if you break down the numbers, basically they say it is, you'll get an answer 1 out of every 10 calls. And then out of that, 1 out of every 10, you'll actually get an appointment. So if you do the math, 10 times 10 is 100. 100 calls to get an actual appointment. That's a lot of calls to make in a day. So there are different avenues you can do. Like I know Joe has reached out to one of the newer agents to maybe make calls on his behalf. You can have people make calls on your behalf, husband or wife, things like that. The keys there is they can't say they're a real estate agent. I'm calling on behalf of Jennifer, you know, and then they go into, you know, we're just checking up to see if you found what you were looking for, or if you had the questions about the real estate. I don't know all your leads, how they come in. If they come in telling you they're a buyer, if they come in telling you you're a seller, if they don't, just ask if your real estate needs were met. If not, is this something I can still help you with? I've dealt with leads that were 2-3 years old and resurrected them. Leads that other agents have just kind of put to the wayside. In Sync, and I know Julie has gone over this, there are a lot of campaign drips, correct?
Yes, there's a lot of campaign drips and we have AI constantly contacting the leads. Shirley, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you to unmute for a second? How are you making out with the Sync leads that are coming in? Like, are you like, they say that you have to call and follow up like 6 to 10 times each.
I had a buyer lead right now that I'm working with.
You do?
and, Yeah, I have her pre-approved and we're looking at a place tomorrow in 2 places tomorrow in Oxford. She wants to stay kind of near West Grove area and possibly into Delaware. So I had Dan set me up an appointment, but that place didn't work out. I'm still working on that listing that I got through there. I've got to call the lawyer back because the house may not have gone through probate. So I'm working with 2 through that. And then I have a couple of others that I've been following up on because I check it every day. And the ones that constantly come back, like with, those are the ones I've been trying to call first, trying to get a hold of first.
So good. So you're working on, Brandon just settled his first one yesterday for Sync. So it takes time. The other thing is it takes time to develop the Sync leads. So they are not.
That's why I was really interested in the online script, because I just, a couple of things that I didn't do first, with the first 3 questions, but they're good. So I'm going to use those.
Also, Shirley, do you also know that they have, like, every other Monday, Sync has live webinars where they do scripting and
No,
role playing and
what time?
handling objections?
I did not know. I'll have to look at
It's
that.
okay, so I'll send them out. I didn't realize people weren't getting the links to that. I thought everybody was getting the links to that. So I'll make sure that I send that out for the next one that comes on. It's Sync driven. And you can jump on. I think it's every other Monday, and I don't know if it's the first and third or if it's every other. As soon as that comes out, I'll send it out to everybody. And even if you don't have Sync leads, I think that it would be good to jump on one and watch too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. But yeah, that would be helpful.
And
Because again, I
I'll use
try
you,
to contact
Shirley,
them as much as I can.
as an
Mostly it's been through text, because when I call, nobody seems to pick up. So, but when I text, I get text back. So
Right.
text seems to be working better than phone calls with those, but then it leads to a phone call sometimes, which is good.
By the way,
And that's what-
sorry, Rob, James's listing was from text messaging. He didn't necessarily make the phone call. So he texted, he put a bunch of text messages out, and then he got, texts back, and that listing.
So
he
we
got was
sent
from
like a
text.
group
Don't-
text for sale by owners?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he did a group text or if he did it individually.
No. It was individual text that he had sent out.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like
You
sale
just
by
had
owner
one set
contacts.
and you just copy and paste.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's a good idea, because I tell you, people are, in my opinion, because I'm like this, I guess, more apt to respond to text because you're not committing to a phone conversation. And then once
Right.
they feel comfortable with me, then sometimes then I'll pick up the phone and say, well, let's sit down and talk. And they'll say, okay, I have time on whatever day. And at least it seems to work better. It's how I've gotten the 2 leads through that I've gotten so far, was because I texted them first, even though I tried calling them first to begin with.
But see, Sync, you have to remember, Sync are the people that are going, oh, let me think about buying a house. Let me see what's out there. And then they start
Right.
fooling around, and then they get loaded on. So they're the ones that you really have to stay in touch and follow up with. And I'm guilty of not doing that because I've been busy doing other
Right,
things.
that's why I said I got it
Yeah.
filtered. So
Right.
so the ones that keep coming back
Yes.
are the first ones I see. And they're, to me, the more important ones that I want to
Yes.
try to get to for me to call them. Because again, I did try to attempt calling, but they either don't answer or, goes right to voicemail or whatever. So I found that texting them, at least they text me back. Even if it's, I'll text them and say, I'm just following up on your home search. Are you still interested in buying the home in the next 3 months, or be curious about the market, or is there any questions about the buying process I can answer for you? And I'll get something back. Like, I was just curious, or I was just looking for a friend, and I'll say, or I'm not ready till next year. And I'll say, well, I'll just keep in contact I'll, you know, follow up with you in a couple of months to see where you're at then. And kind of put a reminder in.
Yeah, surely the tax, actually, the only change that I would recommend is get rid of the 3 months.
Okay,
Because if someone's not, like like Julie was mentioning, they went online, maybe they're looking in a year, they may not reply back to you. But are you still
Yeah.
interested in buying a home? Question mark. Yes, I am. Then you can ask, well, what's your time frame? So now you've built out that, you know, and yes, it's through a text. To Julie's point also, my rule of thumb is 11. 11 times, 11 touches. And it
Yeah.
should be on multiple platforms: email, text, phone call.
yeah, I should
And
mention,
you-
it's not, I mean, I do email them too. I do both. Well,
Yeah.
I text and email. Again, I try to call, but I'd say I maybe get 1 out of 10 to pick up the phone.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's purely a numbers game.
Yeah,
Eventually, you will get that yes.
Yeah.
I like to say, when I was growing up, I figured I knew my father was the weakest of my mom and dad, meaning that I asked him something 7 times, he broke. My mom, it was like 200. I had to ask her 200 times, Mom, can I run around this with scissors? No. Can I run around with scissors? No. 200 times before she let me run around with scissors. My dad was like, all right, just go ahead and do it, you know? So it's the same philosophy. You know, we get no's all the time. We're in an industry that's built on no's. You know, constantly, hey, we put an offer in. Did you accept it? No. All right, what do? We go and look for another house. But the things I would suggest, you know, another great line is, you know, why are you reaching out to me? Well, I'm reaching out to you because you reached out to us. Now there's that warm. Yeah, it was online, but
Yeah.
according to remember it was Emmett News, the average person who fills out an application online fills out 9 applications online. So now it's a race. Which agent's going to talk to me first? Then it becomes, okay, well, surely you were the first one to give me a call. Awesome. But you didn't set the appointment. So then Rob called right behind you and said, hey, when do you want to see that house? I set the appointment. Guess who they're working with?
Yeah,
They're going to be working with me because I'm going to show them more value in person than you can do on the phone. You may have given them a whole bunch of information, a half hour of time, which is priceless, but you didn't set the appointment. And these are the online leads. They're going to get bombarded. So you got to make sure. And yeah, you're going to have some people that don't show. You're going to have, like I had, clients that brought their agent. Well, what did you need me for? It's not even my listing.
yeah,
Oh, my agent was out of town. And I look at the agent, I'm just like, nice. You're going to have those. Well,
Yeah.
it's just,
yeah, they're gonna.
yeah, I mean, it's the nature of the industry. But with the internet leads, they are cold. Not everyone, like Julie said, you know, hey, I was thinking my cousin said something yesterday to me about moving back, and you know, I really want them to move close to me. So I'm online. The cousin was talking about moving back after grandma passes away, which is 20 years from now. That doesn't make any sense. They're the ones you got to scrub out. And when you're working with the internet leads, A, B, and C. A, like you said, Shirley, are the ones that are actively on your website, or actively looking, calling, touching base. B are the ones that maybe are corresponding with you every 3 or 4 days. And then the C, they're the cold ones. They're the ones you put on the drip campaign and kind of forget about them for a little while. Working with your A and B. A and B are going to make you the money. C is that's your loan. C are I like to say, the challenging ones. It might just be something that they need to do in the future. A year, 2 years, 3 years. You know, all of us here, we're going to be in the industry for a while, except for Jennifer. She's going to make enough money to retire like in a week. So, but did you sell any houses down in Cancun?
No, but I seriously considered looking at the Amada condos next door. Did you ever go look at those?
No, I haven't.
That's definitely one of my travel side effects, is that I've always gotten a realtor and looked at houses while on vacation. I've gotten realtors in Rome and Paris, and well, my ex-husband had property in London, but Monterey, Montecito, all over.
When I was younger and didn't have a lot of money in college and we would go down to Cancun, I used to sit in on those timeshares just to get the free dinner or just to get the free cruise. So we'd sit on like 2 or 3 timeshares in one day. So we had things to do the next 2 days. But just as a secret, Jennifer and I go to a secret, not together, but we go to a secret resort that no one can know about because it is phenomenal. So, it's a dot on the map somewhere, but that's all we're going to tell you. So we went over, circle. Basically, it's not your sphere, not what I'm talking about. Circle farming, which is basically a script for talking to someone in an area that may know the person or may know the house that you have sold. We talked about some expired listings, the for sale by owners, and a little aggressive calling. Didn't go in detail on that. If you guys feel you want to do a little bit more, and believe me, I have tons of scripts. I just used one for each one of those. We have plenty of scripts. The key with your own script, again, is you got to open up the conversation, open up the dialogue. So your questions up front have to be open-ended and they have to be valued. So if you're trying to do your own script, don't hesitate. Give me a call. We'll role play like I did with Shirley and Julie. I'll role play on the phone with you, and I won't be, the mean, hard person. You'll have that, and maybe that's one once. Hey, great, have a great day. I'm sorry to bother you, and hang up. But you have to be able to handle the no, or like in Shirley's case, the 19 calls with no answers. Don't get discouraged. The discouragement is why majority of the agents don't make it past 5 years in this industry. They just get discouraged, or they don't have the motivation or the coach to actually push them a little further. So if it's not comfortable and make phone calls, but you want to, let me know. I'll make phone calls with you. That's why I was here. I know Joe was here. We're making phone calls on his leads. We sat down, just made a couple phone calls, and it works out. Makes you feel a little comfortable. Now with me making phone calls in a group setting, I do not like, because I don't like that background of sounding like a telemarketer. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. You pick up the phone and they're like, "Hi, this is so-and-so," and then you hear ring, all that stuff in the background. To me, I hang up. I don't even waste my breath. Or, if my son was young enough, I used to give him my phone and let him talk to the telemarketers and see how long it took them to hang up and realize the kid's only 3. But the scripts are there for opening and closing. The middle section, the beef, the meat of your conversation really can't be scripted. Yes, to Julie's point, you should have some questions in mind and know when the appropriate time is. If that's something that you're not 100% sure and you don't have the confidence for, practice. And believe me, obviously anyone who's seen me get dressed up, I love theatrics. I will practice anything. Wednesday nights, nightly meeting is going to be phenomenal. I'll be in character the entire time, and I think you guys are going to enjoy that. I did want to put out a special thanks to Cassie up there, and I feel like what was that game show that had like the blocks of characters? Does anybody remember it? You got
It's
Big X.
squares.
Yes, that's it.
Hollywood Squares.
So either that or the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Cassie was able to join us for the trunk or treat, and we had a bunch of laughs watching Stay Puft Marshmallow Man run away from the Ghostbusters music. I think I may have traumatized Dan's son, so I'll wind up paying for some psychologists to talk to him about the nightmares that he will have for the next 7 years and why he can't stop wetting the bed. But to give Dan credit, his car was phenomenal. So a lot of the people that I talked to that did come out enjoyed it, and they asked if, hey, are you doing it again next year? Again, everything that we're doing is annual. I think it's a great way to get back to the community. I am reaching out to a couple local churches also. And I will tell you, your church is probably one of the best ways. Now, if you're agnostic, that's fine, no big deal. But if you're involved in a church, make sure everyone in that parish, that church, that congregation knows you're a real estate agent. I have gotten more leads from my mother-in-law's church and from my church than I think I've gotten anywhere else in my entire life.
I can
There's
attest
a
to that
belief.
too.
What's that?
I can attest to that too.
And
Believe it or
it's,
not, I go to church. I know it's hard to believe, Rob.
well, no, I mean,
I'm just
you know,
teasing.
I'm just picturing you when it comes to the donations, you're dropping a business card in.
But yeah, so
But get involved in your church events. Like I said, I'm reaching out to a couple of churches, and I'll be talking about this later on, to either do a soup kitchen, or last year I did something where I helped agents raise money. We wound up buying 40 turkeys, 400 pounds of yams, green beans, everything else, everything to go. And this company cooked it all and then sent it out for us.
can I jump in again? I was
Yeah.
at a dinner at the Chester County Food Bank, and I know we're running short on time, sorry. I was at a networking event at the Chester County Food Bank, and they sent us all home with 5 boxes. And they want us to fill the boxes with non-perishable foods, and or actual, yeah, any food really. I think probably non-perishable is the best thing. And they want kids to decorate the boxes, because what they do is these boxes go to elderly people, and then it kind of brightens their day having them, you know.
Well,
Cassie, I'll give you one to color.
give me 2.
But I have 5 boxes.
My kids would love to do them.
So I'll next time you're in Westchester, I'll bring them in the office. We'll bring a couple down West Grove. We'll have some in Westchester. If everybody can just start bringing some food in, and then we'll start, you know, doesn't matter what it is, canned goods, anything like that. And actually the food bank is actually a very good source. They were saying that it takes about $5 million a year to run that. And it's really a lot more now. There's a lot more people that are food insecure. And they only get about $300,000 from the county, and the rest are donations and corporations and all of that, the money and everything. So they're really, there's a big need for that. So we'll work with on that, Rob.
And remember, I don't know how many people follow, you know, the news for the country. It's our local news. The price of gas, the price of food, the price of products has gone through the roof. So these families that, you know, are living okay. I mean, not all of us, the fact that we're breathing, the fact that we have a house, a roof over our heads, the love of our family and friends, that's in itself is a grateful thing to have. Some of these families don't, so we can provide a little bit of food for them. That would be, I mean, phenomenal. I did an event when I was a young boy, and I did it for the wrong reasons. Worked well, if everyone knows about Prendy and Bonner. Prendy's an all-girls school growing up, and they needed Santa Clauses to go to these houses and deliver. Well, I found out that the Santa Clauses went with 7 Prendy elves. I'm like, hey, this is great. I get to go with 7 girls from Prendy. That was but what I got out of it was phenomenal. I remember sitting there on just 2 milk crates and a 2x4, and I reached into my bag and handed out a Cabbage Patch Kid that dates you as far as how far back that was. And that little girl and her dad, the tears were real. I will never forget that emotion. And that's what this time of the year is. You know, we're getting through Halloween, you know, scare all the kids, have fun, enjoy yourselves. And Thanksgiving, it's the time for giving, it really is. And our industry, we can give. So, and that goes for you guys as well. Is there anything you need, just don't even hesitate, let us know.
Yeah, if you guys have any kind of do anything for any other charitable organizations, we can help you with.
Or like Shirley, I think, what do you have, like, what,
Anything.
13 kids, Shirley?
Personally, do not have 13 children. My mother was crazy enough to have 13 children. But I do want to try to set something up with my daughter's school. And so I'm going to try to talk to the administration there and see what I can do, because I provide snacks to her kindergarten class weekly, because they're just in a place where they sometimes don't come to school with food. Where, you know, they don't come to school with snacks. So I always buy her snacks to, you know,
take to school. She stops by and picks them up, and her principal was like, you know, where do you get those snacks? And she said, my mom brings them. And she's like, your mom, like your mom? And she's like, yeah. And she goes, oh my God, that's great. So I thought, well, I need to sit down and talk with this principal and see if there's something we could do for the school itself or even joining schools. But
Yeah, and I actually reached out to Avon Grove and PLE, which is near me, where my two, well, my two
Yeah.
go to one school now. And there's always families in need.
yeah,
Like you mentioned, we have a program where the kids can come to school early and have breakfast
yeah,
and then lunch, and then they can actually have, and yes, we have that same snack program where actually we'll send in snacks for a month and the kids who aren't able to. But
yeah, that's the thing. Like she's a kindergarten teacher. They have the programs for breakfast and lunch, but the problem is our kids eat breakfast so early and they have an early lunch. So by the time they're dismissed, there's like 4 hours. And she's like, they're so hungry. I give them a snack in the middle of the day, and half of them don't have snacks. So
obviously we
that's
ran
kinda what
about
I'm
5
gonna
minutes.
tackle.
We ran about 5 minutes over. I do apologize about that. I always end with, are you taking something from this today?
Absolutely.
I got something. I want to share this. Did you ever buy that home you were looking for? That I really like that line.
I did too.
Because it's not aggressive. It's a good way for you to circle back with somebody even from months ago. Did you ever buy that home you were looking for? And then just let them answer. I like that,
Yeah,
Rob. That was a good one.
That's the key, is ask. And like I mentioned, you want to tail your voice off and then just be quiet.
Yeah,
Did you ever find that home you were looking for?
I like that a lot. You've inspired me to go back to my sync leads today. I'm gonna call them the sync leads today.
Hey, I'll help you call if you need them. Welcome back, Jennifer. Sad to say you did come back. Did you do a Mexican lollipop?
I think so. It's hard to remember. All I know is I'm
You don't
waiting for
remember?
Francisco in my champagne.
Mexican lollipop's a shock, and it was really big down there. But it is, and my wife did open up that little canister, so thank you. She's got it in our bathroom. So, but all right, again, thank you guys very much for attending. We'll be in office, VR, however is easier for you. The Wednesday night meeting will be at the Westchester office, West Grove office, I mean.
No, wait.
Uh,
No.
yeah.
Westchester.
No, it's West
Oh,
Grove.
West Grove. You're right. You're right. West Grove is the
Yes,
one. Yeah.
on the 10th of November.
West Grove.
I'll be providing turkey, not a whole turkey, but a turkey breast that we can cut, because I'm not cooking the turkey for however long it takes. So if anyone's planning on attending, we also will have Inspector Pro is coming to discuss different techniques on inspections, what to rely on, what not to rely on. They're also offering a gift certificate for your clients to use to help save a little bit of money on the inspections. And if you guys don't know, they also, was actually Prospect, I mean, and ISG combined to become one of the largest inspection companies in the tri-state area. And we'll
Oh, is
have a
that
lot of fun.
November
That's
17th?
November 10th
Oh, November 10th. November 10th in West Grove.
in West Grove. Dinner starts at 5:30, mingle, enjoy each other, have fun, and the meeting will start at 6. And like I said, I promise you this will be one for the record books again. It's up there with Abe Lincoln, I believe. Or if any of you guys have ever watched Men in Tights, Abe blinking. But
Monty
again,
Python reference. That's awesome.
Dan did an awesome job with and his wife, so thank you very much. And I got beat up. I didn't introduce my wife to your wife, so I apologize about that. And for you, those of you who don't know, Dan got a new addition to his family.
I did.
It's a little chocolate lab, I think.
Yep, little chocolate English lab.
It's not
Oh,
little. It's almost the
adorable.
size of my dog already.
He's a
My
terror.
dog's 4 months old.
He looked so cute and innocent when we picked him up, but he's a terror. I'll tell you. It's a lot of
And
work.
thank you again, Cassie, for participating in the trunk retreat. We're looking forward to doing more events. And if you have any ideas for events, please let me know. Like I said, I'm trying to reach out to churches for either food kitchens, supplying food, donations. Believe me, I've even held tables out front, gotten permission from, unfortunately, it's only Walmart that'll do this. So Giant won't let us do it. Have a table outside asking for food. I literally had a Amish guy come back in a buggy with 2 burlap bags of potatoes.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So, now that's in the Oxford one. I don't think we're gonna find buggies in the Kennett one. But if that's something you guys wouldn't mind doing, I will definitely set that up.
I think that's
And,
good, Rob. My church has 3 food boxes, like little free food libraries, kind of like the little book libraries, but it's free
Yep.
food boxes that they supply. So that would be good too. They get used all the time. It's empty a lot, so it needs to be filled constantly. There's a lot of people in the area.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's
Big
simple
impact this
as,
year.
what's that, Dan?
I want to make a big impact this year on all these different.
And with these events, like, obviously, you know, we have our table there, we have tablecloth, maybe we have the banner, maybe it's the tent. I think the tent's phenomenal because that's rain or shine for us. But I do know that the Walmarts allow you to do that, and you normally position yourself on the inbound side, not the outbound side. But it really is. But I would need agents because I don't want to be there for the whole 8 hours. I would need agents to pull maybe 1-hour shifts. So if you guys are interested, shoot me an email today, and then I will definitely get that put together. We can get enough trucks. I mean, last time I think I had 4 pickup trucks, had to load up all the food that we got.
Yeah, I have a
and some
box trailer too that we can use.
So we need the rack box trailer.
Or what?
We need to get that wrapped.
Yeah, we
Really
can do
one
that.
wrap all around it.
And
So
it'd
that
be
we can just
great.
We could do
sit it
that.
in the parking lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as Dan and I have been talking, we are seeing people are starting to notice us. We're actually starting to do more of the events that everyone's missed in the past. Yes, we are COVID conscious.
Sorry.
By all means, wear a mask if you feel, if you're not vaccinated, whatever. I mean, do what's right for you. And we'll make it fun, we'll make it exciting, and we'll also help make some money for everyone. Again, thank you very much. I will send out
I have
the,
an event I have to go to tonight. I totally forgot about it.
All right, we should probably end it.
I
So
will,
we'll
Yeah,
begin.
Dan.
I'll send out
There you go.
the scripts for the 3 we went over later on this afternoon. If you guys need anything, please don't hesitate, give me a call, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, and, you know, I'll help you out the best I can. And welcome back again, Jennifer.
See ya.
See
Thanks,
you guys
Rob.
later.